Okay guys, my Access database is online and this computer in this little window here is out on the internet. I have used ngrok and I put my data entry application for the simple little form that's connected to Microsoft Access. I put it online, and as you can see, I'm accessing a web application, but that application is connected to the Access database in my C drive that we're going to work on today. So we can use this nice little form here. It has drop-down lists and it has entry fields, and it has a save button at the bottom, and it's got a little description that changes after you save your record here. So we'll click save and it says you have been added, and that's our little app. And if we go back to Microsoft Access on my C drive, you can see that row there. Let's go check it out. Now, most of you Microsoft Access developers have your applications running nicely in the background. Usually you've got everything under control, but almost everybody has that one form or that one thing that you need to do that you wish you could just extend it to your corporate users on the network or out onto the internet itself to collect some information where you cannot install Microsoft Access, and that's what today's lesson is all about. Following up on last week's episode where we showed you how to make a web report for your users, in today's episode we're going to create a data entry interface, and we're also going to demonstrate it shown on the web. Let's get to it. Want to see more cool topics like these? Make sure to check out my Patreon. The link is in the description. Okay guys, make sure to buckle up. The next 20 minutes are going to be a fun ride for you. Let's check out our database here. So I've got this empty database here, Microsoft Access database, and I'm going to create a table. So I went to the create ribbon and I chose table design, and I will add some fields in here. So I'm going to add a contact ID as an auto number, and I'm going to make that into a primary key, and then we'll add some other fields. We are going to create a table that can receive entries from people who want to join your club or join whatever, or just want to be on your contact list, and they will be able to access that via their web browser. And so let's add a few fields that we can use in our example here. We'll add first name, last name, address, and city. I guess we'll make city like 150. I don't think there's cities with longer names than that. We'll add a region, and I guess the region will be a shorter field as well. We are not doing any kind of big normalization here. We're just going to make a contact table that's going to receive name and address, and we'll put a postal zip on there. That will be a short one. I guess we'll put 16 in there for that one, and then I guess we'll need country, so we'll put country in there. That will also be a shorter field. Let's put that one into 150 there, and then we'll put a date stamp on it. So this will have a default, so we won't actually insert the date. We'll let the table default stamp it by using the default value. So we'll put now in there for the default value, and then we could save our table. So we'll go up and we'll click that save button there, and we'll call it TBL contact and go OK. And that gives us first name, last name, address, city. We've got our region, postal code, and zip. Let's add another field for email or something. I guess we could do phones too, but let's just put email in there for now. You guys could add whatever fields that you'd like to see. So we'll save that one. That's our contact table. Let's open it in datasheet view. You can see there are the fields that we want to insert to: first name, last name, address, city, region, postal code, country, and email. And the date stamp will auto-populate, the contact ID will auto-populate, and we are good to go. There we have it. We have our Access database that is in our C drive, as you can see there. Okay, next we're going to open our Notepad++, which we downloaded for free. There's the file name that I created. There's our file from last week, and you can see that's the msaccess_streamlit.py, and you can see all the stuff that we did for that report. But we're going to grab these rows from 1 to 16, and we're going to right-click copy those after we select them. We're going to paste them right into our new script, because as you guessed it, we are going to reuse these lines and we're going to reuse a bunch of these components. We can get rid of that pandas library. We are not going to use pandas because we're not going to pull a report today, because that's what we used pandas for. And we're also going to change the path to our database because we're going to be using our new path. So we created a folder called access st data entry, and then my script is called st data entry, and I believe the database has the same name. Let's go check that out. There we go. So it's stdata_entry .accdb. That's the name of the file there. Let's just go ahead and put that in. So we've got access stdata_entry folder, and then we'll do stdata_entry.accdb. And then when we ask for our Microsoft Access engine, we're going to pass in that path that we just created there. And we'll save that, and that is almost good to go there. Let's just go and check that I got the right file name. I'll pull up my folder there. So this is the folder location. And it looks like there's an extra underscore there. Let's grab that, take that out of there so that we are correct. So it's actually st_data_entry.accdb, and that matches with the db path variable that we created there. Now we're going to add one more from SQL Alchemy there. We're going to get text, and that's going to help us with our text generation for our SQL string, and away we go. So now we can start putting in our Streamlit controls. Now these are the web controls that you saw on the web page in the demo at the very beginning of this video, and it's very, very simple with Streamlit. All we have to do, we want a title at the top of the page. We can just go st.title, add me, so that people know that this is where they can register or do whatever. And then we'll grab our first name. So that's going to be a text box. Just like you use a text box in Microsoft Access, we use a text box, a text input on our Streamlit application. So we'll say fn equals st.textInput, and we'll say that's going to have first name as a tag. We'll put enter into the actual box. You can put enter. You can actually make that an empty string if you want, with maximum length of 255, just in case you've got a crazy long name or something like that. And we'll do the same for last name. So I'll put ln equals st.textInput last name, and we'll do 255 on that one as well. And then we'll do address. I'll do ad equals st.textInput, and we'll do address, and then the same as we did for the other ones. That's going to be a long field as well, 255 there. And then we'll need our city, so we'll make a city variable, ci for city, and we'll do st.textInput, and we'll do city there. And I don't think there's cities with crazy long names, so we'll put a different length on that just so that you can see it on the web page. We're going to make a maximum length of 150 for that one, which is the same as what we put in the table if I remember correctly. And then for region, we're going to use a drop-down list, or a combo box, as you will, from Microsoft Access. And we'll choose st.selectBox, and that's going to give us a nice little drop-down. We'll put a tag on it saying choose your region, and then we're going to put in a list here of things that can go into our select box. And so we'll put in BC, Washington, Oregon, and California for our selections. Maybe this is a West Coast company or something like that. And that is a tuple inside of the brackets, and we can use a tuple to load various different kinds of things. Okay, so for the next thing, for our postal zip code, we can put in a text input. That'll be another text box, and we'll put in postal zip for the tag on that, and then we'll put in enter just like we did for the other text boxes, and that had a maximum length of 16, I believe. So we'll put that in matching what our table has in Microsoft Access. And then our country, we'll do another select box for that one. we'll put in Canada and the United States for this particular one. So this is for, maybe a company that only services Western, the Western province of Canada and the, Western states, Washington, Oregon, California in the United States, and so, or something like that. I don't know, I'm just making it up here, and we can put in an email as well, so we'll do an email. So we'll do em equals text input email, and then we'll put in the length for that, which I believe was 255 as well. And you can see that I've used very short variable names, and there's a reason for that, as I mentioned. We are going to be loading a couple of things, but first, before we get to that, we have to put our button on there. And so what we can do for our button is we can say if our button save, so we're going to do st.button save, then we're going to load our data into our database. And the button state has only a 0 or 1, and if you click it, it's a 1, and so that's why we can say if st.button save. Basically it says if that button has a state of 1 in Streamlit, then do this stuff. Otherwise it's not clicked in the sort of state. It's kind of stateful the way that Streamlit does things. Okay, so that means we are in our button click. So if they've clicked save, we are going to build our parameter list here. It's actually a dictionary, and we're going to use that curly brace, and then inside of it we're going to give our parameters some names, and we're just going to use the little short names I used for variable names, and now you can see why I used those short ones. All you have to do is just build up a dictionary that basically has the name of your variable on the left hand side and the actual variable value on the right hand side there, and then close those curly braces, and that is a dictionary that you can use to be parameters for our insert command. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to build that command, and so we're going to use that text function from SQL Alchemy, and we're just going to build our insert statement that we would use in Microsoft Access. And so we can do that now. We can do insert into TBL contact. We'll put in our field names, and we can split this over several lines because we're using the text function and the triple quotes there. So we can go ahead and put in our first name, last name, address, city, and then on the next line we can put in region, postal code, country, and email, just as if we were building an insert statement in SQL View in Microsoft Access, except we are going to put some parameters in this insert statement, and these parameters are able to be used by SQL Alchemy. And so we're going to put in :FN. You'll notice those short names again, so it's colon, first name, colon, last name, colon, address, colon, city, colon, region, and then we'll put in the postal code, the country, and email. And you'll see that by using those sort of short names, we can make this nice and concise for our data entry here. And so that's our insert statement right there. We can put a semicolon on the end and close that off with our triple quotes and the closing bracket, and there you go. You can break that up if you want. You can make it look a little nicer if you want to split that onto 3 lines, kind of like I did here. And that gives us a nice insert statement that we can use with SQL Alchemy, and that uses PyODBC. And so we're going to be using that ODBC driver that we got when we installed the Microsoft Access redistributable in our last episode when we got ready for this. Next, we're going to open our connection. We'll say with engine.connect as CNN, and then we'll go down to the next line there, and make sure you do your indenting because it does matter in Python. It does not matter in your VBA that you've been doing in Access, but here we go. We'll put our result equals cnn.execute, and then we'll put in our SQL and our parameters, and then we'll just say cnn.commit. Make sure you don't forget that commit statement, because if you don't put it in, it won't actually get written to the table. It'll get put in, but until you commit it, it doesn't get saved. and then we can, put something. We'll say you have been added, so we'll put st.write. So anything you want to write on your page, you can use st.write, and that'll say, you have been added. And then we'll put in the else statement. Now this is for the else, that's for the button save, and if the button is not clicked, we'll just put click save to be added. And that's all we really need to do for this. We can take a look through our code and make sure we don't have anything crazy here. It will give us an error if we've screwed something up, but I think we look pretty good here. Let's check that out. We got our st.button save, our parameter list. We got first name, last name, address, city, region, postal code, country, email, and all of those are put into our parameters in our SQL string. Now when you use with engine.connect, the with statement, that block should actually close the connection as well when it's done with that object. If you're finding that it holds it open, you can put a cnn.close after your cnn.commit statement. Let me know in the comments how you find that works out for you. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we are going to try and run this. So I saved that file, so we created our little Python file. We only added about 30 lines of code, which is a whole application, which is incredible to me that you can do it in such a small amount of coding. Now we're going to go to our command window here, and you're going to change directories. You're going to go to the directory. In this case, I'm going to cdev access stdataentry, and then you'll use the streamlit run command there with the Python file after it, and it looks like it came up just nice here. That's awesome. Okay, so that's exactly what we want to see. We've got all of our drop downs here. They look like they've got the right data in them. Fantastic. And we've got our little save button there. Click save to be added. There are the default values in there called enter for most of those, and that is exactly what we want to see. Let's just click save because there are actually entries in there. The enter, so we should see a row with enter, 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 and maybe Canada. Okay, so it does have our Access database open. Let's go take a look at that. And open that database, double click on our table, and lo and behold, there are our entries into that row from the web browser, which is open on localhost port 8501. So we could type another one in there if you wanted. You can type in your name and put in your address if you want. I'll put in 123 Anywhere Street, Vancouver, and we'll do like V5 or something along those lines for our Canadian postal codes, which confuse everybody south of the border and vice versa. And there we go. We can plunk in our email address, and that has just about everything we want. First name, last name, everything there. Let's click save. It says you have been added, and we can go ahead and check our database there if we want. Let's grab that database and open that TBL contact. Look at that. Exactly what we want to see there. Fantastic. We've got our web form, which is available right now. Anyway, it's available on our local network at your computer name :8501, or you can put your 192 or whatever your address is, and then :8501. And that will be available, so long as it's not blocked by your firewall. It will be available for people to do data entry without having Microsoft Access installed on the machine. Now I'm going to paste in a little file here which is going to run my ngrok. If you guys are interested in this, this is sort of an extra thing. This is how to deploy it out onto the web. Make sure to let me know in the comments below. ngrok has a reverse proxy which allows us to tunnel and connect to that port 8501 to an app running out on the internet. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm just using the free ngrok that you can get. So go to ngrok.com if you want to check this out. So you can see it's already forwarding. So now it's forwarding port 80 to our app that's running on port 8501 on my computer. And so basically it's now available on the internet. So this is ngrok running in the command window. Control C to cancel that and cancel your tunnel in case you needed to do that. And this computer is running on Azure, and so it is out in the internet and it's going to connect to this ngrok. So I'm going to paste in that free.app link that we got from our little console window there. And lo and behold, there is the page that's running on my computer and connecting to my Access database on my C drive, which is pretty cool. You could give this address to a whole bunch of people that are on your team perhaps, and they need to do some kind of data entry that they can't put Microsoft Access on their machines for, but you can just give them this link temporarily and they can do a bunch of work. Or you can buy, I think you actually get one static IP with, or static address with your ngrok account. So you can get a static one for free, so that means you could keep it open all the time, or you can just get a random one like you see in my browser here, and each time you start ngrok it gives you a different one. So that's what they call ephemeral addresses. Now let's click save. You can see, oh, it did work. So you have been added, and there is our address. So we did that from out on the internet. Let's go to my C drive and check out this database here, and you can see there it is, John Doe from Los Angeles. That's exactly what we want to see there. That's how you can do web data entry in 20 minutes using Streamlit on Microsoft Access. Need more resources for your projects? Make sure to check out the additional links in the description.